This is the shortest TikTok I've ever seen to simultaneously validate and call out so many people at once, which led to that comment count of people agreeing but not knowing what to do next with this information. I'll show you an answer from the most unexpected place, but first you need to hear what she says.
Most people don't realize that if you think that every decision that you make needs to be the exact right decision, that is a sign you are stuck in fight or flight.
Which hit people like a ton of bricks. She does go on to explain it, so check out her account for that. It took me seeing it in action for me to get it, so let me show you that. Just promise you won't run, okay? You promised. Wait, please. Iron Man 1, and pretty much Tony Stark as a character, embody this to a T. I'll only give the necessary context. So in the first Iron Man, Tony is kidnapped and held hostage in a cave. And of course, being who he is, he adapts to the situation and builds his way out of the problem. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out what he built in here. So to mount his escape, he makes the first Iron Man armor. Really rough, just a prototype, but the concept is there. Well, spoiler alert, it works and he escapes. But now since he has access to all of his resources, he decides to make a Mark II of the armor. Mark I only had the tech for one repulsor burst, so one flight. So for Mark II, he wants sustained flight. Which all in all is going pretty well. It's a little wonky, but works. And keep that specifically in mind. So after upgrading the repulsors, Mark II's done. With of course the usual Tony Stark upgrades, which includes AI. So keep in mind, he's only supposed to be walking around and testing this out. This is his first time putting it on, so nothing crazy, right?
Do the weather and ATC check, start listening in on ground control.
Sir, there are still terabytes of calculations needed before an actual flight.
Sometimes you gotta run before you can walk.
What he just said is supposed to be just a funny line, but you'll see how that ties back. And so yeah, he risks his life on his first draft. And since he's already a genius at this point, that's pretty much okay. Unless he starts stressing things at all. But he wouldn't do that on a test flight, right?
Alright, let's see what this thing can do.
He decides to go for the record of fixed-wing flight, approximately 85,000 feet, but as he climbs, the AI notices something.
Sir, there is a potentially fatal buildup of ice occurring.
At high speeds and altitudes, temperatures drop dramatically and fast. But it normally would take a bit longer on like a large plane. But with the size of the suit, the icing happens pretty quick. And he ends up losing all power at somewhere around 85,000 feet. So he's lost all functionality, flight, AI, all gone. Though thankfully, the manual release for his flaps still works, so he's able to break up a lot of the ice at once, which of course jumpstarts the system, gets him back in business. I promise this track, stay with me. Now he could have thought of all that beforehand, couldn't he have? And he's a genius, so he should have. Now this is where it all comes together. Because later towards the climax of the movie, the villain shows up. And because they wanted to use the suit for nefarious purposes, they stole the designs of the suit. So now they've made their own evil version. Whereas Tony has perfected his first prototype of the main platform that he's known for. But by this point, he's used up most of the suit's energy. And the villain's suit is pretty much designed for combat, while his is not right now. So he's getting his butt kicked, but then he gets an idea. If he's not doing so good on land, maybe he'll do better in the air. And of course, the villain's suit's been upgraded to have flight capabilities as well, so they're off. And just know, he's trying to take Tony out of the game, permanently. So at first glance, it just looks like this man's running. But remember, we've seen this setup before. I told you this was going to come back. So of course, as the villain's closing in, he's got our hero. Whatever.